Hello everyone, it's Harshit and I'll be teaching you guys Python for this video series. And I'm a student at lovely professional university currently pursuing BTech for my future goals. Okay? And I'll be teaching you Python for your queries. You all can comment below, and after every YouTube video, I'll be checking the comments. If anyone have any doubts, they can ask there. And in this series, I can make sure that every one of you, whoever watches this video and follows this series truly, they can at least solve Python questions, and actually they can partially master this language, because you can't completely master any language, but you can partially master this language. So I'll make sure, and we both can do this. We both can make it happen by only us practicing. In coding languages, practice is actually what matters at the end. Okay, so we'll begin. But before we'll begin, I'll just advise you all that you all must download any compiler for Python, or you can go on internet and you can type compiler for Python, and you'll see many websites. You can go there and you can actually write your codes and you can get your examples. Just like, for examples, for example, I am using programmers. Okay, it's an Python online compiler. You can also use this one. It's pretty good. I've worked with it. Or you can use VS Code. It's pretty much for every language. You can use VS Code for every language, every other language it's out there. Either it's a scripting language, or it's Python, or it's Java, C. Every language you can use. So yeah, first thing, after every lecture, I'll be giving you some practice questions or some practice tests. I'll tell you that you must do those things. So please do those, because actually what they'll do, they'll actually make your logic strong. So the logic is like how what's the common sense behind everything happening in this coding language. Okay. So let's begin. So yeah. So first of all, what is Python? If anyone asks me what is Python, I'll say Python is a programming language. But they'll ask, what kind of programming language is Python? So I'll just say that Python is a high level programming language. Okay. And you know why it's important? Python is important because nowadays many companies are they are working with Python. They are hiring interns who are actually have a great knowledge, great grab in that Python language. Okay. So let's let's go towards its history part. So actually, Python was first released in 1991. See, back then, before Python, there was C, C++, and Java. You know, what was the issue with these languages? These languages were lengthy. For these languages, for a single print code, for even a single print code, you have to import a library, you have to create a function, and then you have to do working on it. So it's a bit lengthy, you know. And even in Java, in Java, even if you are taking an input, you have to import a particular library. You have to write a code of like 5 to 6 lines for even having your input. But in Python, you just have to write a code of one single line, and you'll have your input from your user. See, we'll be doing this part in this video. So stay connected. Okay. So, and this language was created by Gudio van Rossum. So, Gudio van Rossum was actually father of Python. Okay. He first released it in 1991. Stay, keep this in your mind. Okay. Then there are many companies who are actually using Python nowadays. Some famous companies are there. One of them is Instagram and Netflix. See, these are the companies we are uh, me, you, and many people around us. Actually, not many. Everyone around us are using their products. Like I used to watch movies all day on Netflix, and some people are actually they they used to scroll Instagram and everything like that. Okay, so it's so you'll ask me one question that Harshad, why should we learn Python? There is this reason that why should we learn Python? For learning Python, we must have one thing. Okay, Python is easy to read and easy to write. It's more similar to English. You are writing it if you are writing in English, it's similar to you are writing in Python. Okay, it's a huge community, and there are thousands of libraries. These libraries help you to not to repeat a code again and again. They have particular functions. We'll talk about what are functions in further lectures. They have particular functions with them which are helping us to actually proceed in our task by importing that library. do all of this in this series, okay? And it's a great for beginner language. You know, if I'll pick someone and I'll just say that you have to learn one language and I'll give them C, they'll be grabbing their hairs of their heads and they'll be like, what is this language actually? Because C language is also complex, but Python it's easy to understand, easy to read, easy to write. So it's beginner friendly language and it's mostly nowadays it's mostly used in AI and web developments. See, if there is an AI and web development, we all know we are talking about the future. We are talking about our own jobs. Nowadays, people who are not from PCM or PCB backgrounds, they are also trying to learn coding languages because they know there is a scope in these languages. Okay, so for for Python, there will be a first program. First program of ours will be how can we print anything? How can we get an output? See, whatever the computer or the system gives us is known as output. We all know that basic, that much basic, and whatever we give to it, it will be input. Besides our code, okay. Outside the code, whatever info I'm giving my computer, it's input, and whatever it's giving me, it's output. If I'm writing on Google that www.youtube.com and it opens the web page of YouTube. So my input was www.youtube.com and the output was YouTube's web page is opened in front of me. Okay, so we'll write our first we'll write our first code. Okay, it's for having an output. See, this one part of my screen it will be for writing codes. This part of my screen is for have is for getting outputs. Okay, so for every file, okay, we used to store them in a particular directory. Okay, for the directory our system uses some keywords, that for Python it is designated .py, that if you are creating a file main.py or harshit.py or lecture.py, we can actually then we can actually understand it that yeah, it's the file in which Python and its compiler will work. Okay. Another thing, Python is an interpreter language. What's the difference between a compiler and an interpreter? So for very much basic, okay, a compiler is a compile a compiler is a part of our system, okay, part of our code execution part, which actually reads whole code at once and gives us the output. Whereas an interpreter is one of those guys who will read line by line the code, spot the errors, give back to us, and then it will execute the code. Compiler will do the same, but it will just go through the whole code, give us the errors, and then it will execute. But you know, there are two different things. Interpreter is going line by line. Compiler is going whole code at once. So keep this in mind because Python is an interpreted language, whereas other languages are also not many languages, but some languages are compiled languages. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, because I'm also a student, I'm also learning, I'm also a beginner. So you people must correct me. If you know something, then you can also teach me. It's not that I'll be teaching you on this channel or on this series. You will be teaching me too. Okay. So what's our first? Let's write our first code. Our first code is to print something to get output from the system. Okay. So for printing anything, I'll just have one thing. Okay. I'll just have to write print. Then I'll have to put curly brackets or parentheses, whatever you want to call, then quotes or double quotes, okay? And inside that, what's our message to write? We are gonna write that message. So I'll be writing, hey beginner, okay, let's learn Python. Okay, and now I'll execute it. Whenever I'm running it, just understand it's executed. See, it's written here, code execution successful. And I have got the output. Hi beginner, let's learn Python. See, this is our output. If you have done this correctly, clap for yourself. Congratulations, you have actually written your first code in Python. It's a first step of our journey. And in further days, we will be learning many things more. Okay, so first thing we have written our code print. Hey beginner, it's let's learn Python. Okay, so what do you understand here? See, print here is something which we have to write before anything we are. before we want an output, or before we want a message to be getting. Okay. See, double quotes are here for text. Okay. For text. Only for alphabets. Okay. Alphabets and character standing values. Okay. Double quotes are there for this. Okay. So in these computers, there is one thing we can, you know, you see those big math calculations. I'm also one of those students who was scared of maths at first. So because of those big mathematical calculations, like if I'll say, can you just give me an answer like 325 multiplied by 395? So we will be having our pens and papers and we will be doing it right that. Or some of us will be grabbing a calculator and writing it on that. But we can also get it from Python. How can we get it? 325 plus 395. Okay. And now when I'll run the code, it will be giving me 720. It's the correct output. So that means we can actually have arithmetic operations from these languages. This will actually help us to solve our mathematical problems very easily. And we can actually create directories or libraries or some storage in the from with the help of these languages. So see, that's why these languages are actually important for us. Okay. So, and if you are thinking that it can only do addition, no, it can also do subtraction. If I'll do this, we'll have negative 70. Okay. If I'll again do I'll do multiplication. This is this symbol is of multiplication. We'll be talking about this in this video for the part. Okay. See, we have got our output. So that's actually our output. Okay. Now the common mistake which very many people do is that they are not putting the semicolons. For numeric values, you don't have to put semicolons. If we want any output or if we want any output in numerics, we don't need any semicolons. But if I'm going to write, hey, in without semicolons, it will not give us an output. Let me just show you. See, it's hey without semicolons. Okay, and boom, here is an error. So what is that? What does this error say? Name hey is not defined. Did you mean hex? Hex is actually a data type in our Python. So that's why it's asking, did you mean hex? See, this little word, error, many students are scared of this word, but we don't have to get scared of this word because it's our helper buddy. What will this do? It will actually tell us that what's the problem with our code. What's the problem in our code? Okay, most of your problems in your code will be told by this error message. Okay, trace back last file name you got. You even got the line. I have written it in line 3. It's saying in line 3 there is a error. It's also showing you type of that error. It's name error. So see, it's our helper. So you don't have to get scared of it. If there is an error in your code, congratulations, you are at first breakdown. But there's one thing. When Albert Einstein first found his bulb, he was he wasn't saying, I have found this at first time. He has tried many times, repetitively. And during those times, he has said one thing. I have found multiple ways to create a bulb, but to create a perfect bulb, I have got one way. That's our way. But in coding, there is no such thing as one single whole way. There are multiple ways to execute in code to get an output. For for further codes, I'll be writing some other codes. Some of you people who are doing from their own mind, who are doing from their soul help, no help. Okay, they'll be having the codes differently. Okay, if I'm solving it from a loop, they can also solve it from if else statement and many things like that. Okay, so that's why for alphabetic values, we have to put double colons. Okay, double quotes. If I run this again, then hey, it's your output. That's why we prefer it. Okay, now see, there is this thing. Now, first homework of you all guys. That first homework is nothing but you have to download any Python compiler, work on it. Okay, get your hands on it, or go to Google, get yourself a Python compiler and start coding on it just like I'm doing. And your first actually writing homework is write print, then hello, then your name, then the date. Okay. Then you can also write the dates. Okay. But remember one thing. If you're not doing any mathematical operations, you can write the numerics in this code. Okay. So it's hey 125, it will be hey 125. Okay. That's how we actually print. Okay. So you have learned your first code, then it's then you have learned your first tool, how to write, how to actually work on it. Okay. So now we will go towards the next chapter, data types. What are data types? Actually, what are data types? Can anyone tell me what is a data type? So some of you will say that a data type is the type of data. Some of you are who are actually from a coding background or who are actually pursuing coding, they'll say there are multiple data types. It's for inputs and outputs. Yeah, both are correct. And we will also have we will also learn this. Okay, let me just tell you. In Python, there are no limited data types, but there are mainly some data types. Okay, there are main data types. Okay, before those data types, we will learn variables. Okay, what are variables? You will all be learning these things at the end of this video. Okay, so we all will be learning variables. What are actually variables? So let's just start. Okay, for a variable, you have to just write any. You have to give name to that variable. So I'll give it a. I'll give it a. And then you have to put in equals to, and in front of it you can give it any value, any particular value, what you are giving, what you're trying to giving it. I can give it 1, I can give it 2, I can give it a. But see, there's one difference. This a and this a, both of these, this a and this a, both of them are of similar color. That means they both are holding their individual places. So for that for that thing, we will put quotes right here. Okay. After I put it in the quotes, we can see that that hay is converted into a green color. That means something. You know what that means? That means now it's time for doing the data types part. So let's go, guys. We know how to declare a variable. Just name it. Okay. Okay. There are some limitations of declaring a variable. You can't start its name with a numerical. Okay. You can't have it with any character. Okay. Then there is one thing. There are some keywords in this Python. Okay, there are some already settled up words in this Python. Okay, already settled the words, and for those words, there are many words. So we just have to get a get a memory of those words. That what are those words and how can we actually work with it? Okay, so our first word is if, second is else, third is else if. These three, for, while, and many more. Okay, so these are some words which are actually holding their own places in Python. Okay, if I'll write here if, it's not similar as this a. Okay, this if is of yellow, this a is of white. That means it holds some different memory, it holds some different work. If is holding some different work. That's what the difference is. Okay, so there are some keywords we need to learn that. I am just teaching you some basic keywords right now. One of them is if, else, else if, not else if, it's elif. Sorry for this mistake. I have just completed my C language in my second semester, so that's why I'm writing else if, because in that language you have to write else if. Okay. Else if, for, while. Okay. Okay, then for, while, then true where T is capital, false where F is capital, INT, INT, and many more like that. and many more. Okay, these are some of our keywords. Okay, so now let's start with that variable part. Okay, so you can ask that what should I do with those variables? We can actually have some mathematical magics. What do you mean by magic? So I'll say a variable is equals to the value of 15. B variable is equals to the value of 36, and A C is equals to A addition B. And if I'll now print C, see here we don't have to put C in columns, okay? C in quotes, okay? Here we don't have to write quotes in front of C or at the end of the C because we are calling a variable from its place. So now when I'll print it, it will give me an error name B is not met. Okay. It's Python is also case sensitive language. So if you're writing in lowercase and you are calling it in uppercase, it will always give an error. See, it is also given the error name B is not defined. Small b, but we have asked for capital B type. Okay. It, it is given 51. See, we can do actually mathematical operations right here. So that's what variables are used for. They are used for storing memories. With example, I can explain you that a variable is more similar to a container which is named by you, and you can store information in that container. This 15, 36, A plus B are my infos, and A, B, C, these are the name of those containers which we can save, which we can create at any time. These are dynamic. There are two things, dynamic and static. Static is which remains constant at all times, and dynamic which keeps changing. For the dynamic part, I can also write if I can also change the values. These are dynamic. What do you mean by dynamic? I can if I'll write A equals to 10, and then again I'll write C equals to A minus B, and I'm writing F print C. So now I'll have two different outputs, 51 and 26. A plus B is 51 and A minus B is 26. See, that's what dynamic memory actually means. You can actually make changes in that memory. Whereas in static, you can't make any changes. That's what dynamic and static differs. Okay, that's where these variables differs. Okay, so now we'll have the data type. Okay, now we will have the data types. So what are the data types? See, whatever info I'm writing here has a particular data type. For 15, its data type is integer. There are multiple data types in Python. Okay, but we will be covering some now, some in further lectures, some in future lessons. So don't be panic if I'll miss some. Okay, if you are already having a knowledge and you'll say that no, he has left this data type. Maybe I'm planning to teach you that data type in further lectures. Okay, but in starting we'll go with the basics. So for the basics, the first data type is integer, used to define any numerical value without any decimals. Okay. Second data type is float, used to define used to define any data type value of numerical value containing decimal values up to any length. It doesn't have any length. Actually, you have to restrict it to some length while we are printing it. We will also learn that part. But this float has no particular length. It can go to any length. Okay, so it's float. Okay. Then third data type is string. For string, we will be defining it with the symbol of str. If there is an str, we can understand that it's a string. For a string, we have the data type. Yeah, that's it. A data type. String is a data type in which our data is closed between two quotes. Okay, two double quotes. That's what string is. Nice. If you have understood this, you are at a high peak of your brain. You are using full 100% of your brain right now. Okay, and if you haven't, you can just go back, watch again. Still, you have some doubts? Comment down the video. Comment down below. I'll be replying you, and I'll be addressing you in the next video if I can't reply on your comments. Okay? Then there comes a third data type, Boolean. Boolean is another data type, and we write it as bool. Boolean is a data type which gives us output in true slash false. True slash false. We will be having only outputs in true or false. It's our Boolean data type. See, these are four major data types which we will be using right now. In this, in the near future, we may learn more because there are many different data types. Long, double, then then there comes there comes multiple more data types like lists, tuples, dictionaries. We will learn those again and again. It's always a learning journey. So for all of these, there is one fun thing. We can actually see what is the type of a particular variable after I'll write that variable. That means if I'll write a equals to 10, b b equals to b equals to 10.5, and C equals to colon string string, and there comes D equals to true, true. Okay. Now, if I have to want to know what's the type of this data, I don't know anything. Then I can just write print parenthesis type again, one more parenthesis, and then we will write which variable we have to which one of the variables we have to know. Okay. So if I'll go like this, and I'll just write A, B, then there comes C, and there is a E. And now I'll actually run it. Okay, so see, it has given us the data type, integer, float, str, bool. That's our data type. See, while using print type A, we can get the type of that particular data. That's what this magical phrase does. Okay, now we will have some practice programs. Okay, the practice program is make create two variables. Okay, your practice program will be create two variables, add them, subtract them, multiply them. Okay, so I haven't taught you that mathematical operation. Oh, I forgot. Not a problem, guys. I'll just teach you right now. It's easy. Okay, so for that mathematical operations, let's learn. We know that mathematical operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We know all four of these, but there are one new floor division. Okay, in Python there is one more floor division. Okay, so if I'll write print pri and the print, and I'll just copy this phrase. I'm not doing it again and again. No, that's the thing. And now I'll write a plus b with a minus b with a minus b minus sign we got. Then for multiplication, you will be searching for that cross symbol. But in Python or in any coding language, there is no such cross symbol out there. We will be writing as a asterisk b. Okay, this is our multiplication. For division, we will be writing a slash b, not the percentage sign. Okay, guys. And then for the power of power of a, power of a or power of b, we will be writing a double asterisk to b. And for floor division, we will be writing print a percentage b. See, These are some mathematical operations, and these are those mathematical operations which we will be using during whole of our lectures. At till the end, we will be using some of these addition, subtractions, and power of multiplication. I'll actually say you will be using these a lot, and the most you will be using is floor division one, a percentage b. Okay, okay, sorry, it's this one is division. Floor division is print a double slash. Okay, so now if I'll run this out, see, see, we have got our answer. Now let's go. Let's understand this. For a plus b, we have got the addition. For a minus b, we have got the subtraction. A asterisk b, we have got the multiplication. A slash b, we have got the division. Okay, what's the output of our division? Okay, so 10 divided by 20, it's half. For a double asterisk b, it's the power. So from this to this, it's just normal. Okay, this one is normal division, asterisk, multiplication, subtraction, addition, power on. Then this percentage sign, it gives us the remainder. Okay, percentage sign is used to get us the remainder one, and this double double this double slash slash gives gives us the floor value. Okay, actually for this one I have to actually study. So I'll be I'll be teaching you this one in next lecture because I'm also forgetting some of its major parts. Okay, so yeah, these are these are actually our things which we have to do. So now let me just teach you how to get an input from the user. It's quite interesting because there is no such homework without getting an input and getting an output. There is no homework. What can I say to you? Go print something. Okay, you guys are actually that much smart that you can print anything now. From the first half of this video, we can learn how to print, how to get it now. Now for getting an input from a user. Okay, for getting a print input from a user, we must declare a variable. Okay, so we have declared a variable a. Okay. Now for writing an input, there is two major parts. First, writing the what is the type of my data, and second, writing the input clause. So I'll write my data type. It's integer, then bracket, then input. Okay, then again bracket, and here we go. Now if we have to write any message, we can write enter your age. Let's suppose I'm taking some user's age. Okay, so it's enter your age, and then from here I'll write age print age. Okay, and run. It's saying enter your age. See, it's a line by line. So enter your age. I'll give it my age as what should I? 19. So enter your age. Maybe okay. So 19. I've got my output 19. See, this this much part. This one part is optional actually. This one is actually optional. Even if I'll not write anything in here and I'll run it and I'll just write it, I can get out. That one part is optional. You can actually get some write some statements for the user, but that's optional. The major part is writing the type of that particular data and writing the input clause. The syntax of the input clause is this input in parentheses. Okay, so print bracket a. This is called a syntax. Okay, syntax. That's why we say there are. That's why there are some syntax error always. If I'll just do one thing, if I'll just delete this parenthesis, now no parenthesis closing this one. Okay, I'll write it error traceback syntax error. At first, we were getting name errors. Now it's syntax. This is the syntax that we must write it in this particular format. That's how we will get our actual output, inputs and outputs. So for these inputs, I'll have an age. Okay. Now I'll use the dynamic memory and I'll write a plus 20 and it will give me the output. Okay, output of that age. So I'll write 87. I'll have 107. So see, we have done a mathematical operation. We have used the dynamic memory of that particular variable. We have taken the input. We have got the output. Okay, so that's how we can actually have inputs and output in that particular part. Okay. Now for your homework, I'll just give you one homework. Okay. Your homework is take four inputs from user, its name, its age, its email address, and what site it is. Like not what site it is, like where is he from? Okay, these four values. Then print its age with an addition of 20 and subtraction of 20, a multiplication of 20, and then its age floor division by 20. Then after that, just print its name, email, and everything else. Okay. So we will be getting if you got any if you got any errors or any queries, you can ask me in the comment section.